All right, let's just jump right in. What if I told you that pretty much everything you think you know about how long you're supposed to live is just plain wrong? That this whole idea of retiring at 65 and then just declining is based on a huge misunderstanding of our own bodies. Today, we're going to unpack a pretty wild idea, that your body isn't designed for 80 years. It's designed for 180 years of healthy, energetic life. And no, this isn't science fiction. It's a reality that literally starts with what's on your dinner plate.
We all just kind of accept that number, don't we? 80 years, give or take. It feels like a law of nature. But what if it's not? What if it's just the side effect of a system we've accidentally built? The truth is, the hardware you're running on, well, it's got a much, much longer shelf life than we've been told.
And this is where we have to tackle a really common myth. We love to think that modern medicine gave us all these extra years, but the data tells a different story. What it really did was help more of us survive childhood. If you look back, someone who made it to adulthood in ancient Rome or the Middle Ages, they were consistently living into their 70s and 80s. So our maximum potential lifespan, it hasn't really changed at all.
Now here's the part that should honestly shock you. In this age of incredible medical breakthroughs, life expectancy in one of the most advanced nations on Earth is actually going down. We're not even treading water anymore, we're actively going backward. This isn't just a boring statistic. It is a massive, flashing red light that something is deeply, systemically wrong with how we live and, you guessed it, how we eat. So let's just get this straight. We are not dying of old age. We are dying from diseases that are, for the most part, preventable. Things like obesity, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, even Alzheimer's, these aren't just bad luck that comes with getting older. No, they are the direct, predictable outcome of the modern diet that our bodies were never, ever designed to process. It's a diet that is literally robbing us of decades of life.
But what if you could just flip a switch? What if, hidden inside your own DNA, there was a powerful reset button that could undo so much of this damage? And listen, this isn't about some fancy new technology. This is about tapping into an ancient survival mechanism, 3 million years in the making, that we've just forgotten how to use. That switch has a name: autophagy. The easiest way to think about it is like your body's built-in deep cleaning service. When you flip it on, it literally hunts down old, broken, junky cells, the stuff that causes inflammation and leads to disease, and it recycles them. It breaks them down for parts and builds brand new, shiny, high-performing cells. It's this profound renewal process that happens at a microscopic level, cleaning out the garbage before it can cause problems. It is the ultimate anti-aging system, and you were born with it.
So, how do we turn it on? You're going to love this. It's incredibly simple. First, you starve the problem. You cut off the fuel supply for disease, which means getting rid of sugars and processed carbs. Then, you fuel your body with what it was actually meant to run on: healthy fats and good quality protein. See, it's not really a diet. It's more like changing the type of gasoline you put in your engine, switching from a dirty, sludgy fuel to a clean, high-octane one. That simple change is the trigger for that powerful cellular reset.
Activating this switch, it doesn't just buy you a few extra good years. Oh no, it completely blows up the rules for how we think about life, society, and even money. A healthy 180-year lifespan isn't just an extension, it's a complete revolution. Just look at this slide. It lays it out perfectly. The old model we all know. You learn for 20 years, work for 40, retire, and then fade away. That whole timeline becomes obsolete. Instead, imagine having not one career, but maybe 3 or 4, each one spanning decades. Imagine the wisdom you could accumulate, becoming a kind of super expert with 100 years of experience in a field. That's something humanity has never seen before. And this new timeline would just redefine everything. The phrase, "till death do us part," hits a little different when it could mean 150 years. Retirement as a concept basically vanishes. And can you imagine what happens to national economies when most of the population is healthy and productive for over a century? We're talking about an economic boom like nothing in history. And maybe the single biggest win of all, the almost complete elimination of the insane healthcare costs we spend on these preventable, lifestyle-driven diseases. We are talking about trillions of dollars just freed up. Money that could be poured into education, into infrastructure, into creating a society that's truly prosperous. It would literally fund a golden age. Which, of course, leads to a pretty big question. If this is so simple and so powerful, why isn't it on the cover of every magazine? Why don't doctors tell you this at every checkup? Well, the answer might have something to do with some very powerful industries that kind of like things just the way they are. Now, the source material we're breaking down here suggests a reason.
A sick population can be a very profitable population. Think about it. For the pharmaceutical industry, the processed food industry, and even parts of the medical industry that focus on treatment over prevention, a world full of healthy 180-year-olds who don't need their products, that could look like a financial disaster.
But information this powerful can't stay buried forever. You can feel it in the air. The dam is starting to crack, and the truth is beginning to spill out.
You're going to want to keep an eye on the year 2026. The source we're looking at points to this as a huge potential turning point. It's the year the official US dietary guidelines are expected to finally, formally acknowledge the role that low-carb diets can play in fighting chronic disease. When the government itself starts to admit it, you know a massive public shift is right around the corner.
Okay, so with that big shift on the horizon, let's tie all of this back to you and what might be the ultimate reward. Because living a long, healthy life isn't just about having more birthdays. It's the absolute key to unlocking real financial freedom.
We've all heard this quote, right? Usually attributed to Einstein. We get the idea of compounding, but we've been thinking about it on a totally human 80-year timescale.
And this is the secret. The most critical ingredient for building wealth isn't picking the perfect stock or getting some insane rate of return. It's not about being a genius. It's about time. Simply having more time in the market is the single greatest advantage you can possibly have. And a 180-year life gives you an almost unfair amount of it.
I mean, just look at these numbers. A simple $10,000 investment in a basic index fund becomes a nice little nest egg after 30 years. Cool. But let that same money ride for another 50 years, you're looking at millions. And if you let it go for 150 years, the number becomes so astronomically large it's hard to even comprehend. This isn't magic. It's just math plus a superhuman amount of patience. Wealth basically becomes inevitable. But there is one catch, and it is the most important catch of all. None of that financial magic, none of those crazy numbers, none of it matters one bit if you aren't alive and crucially healthy enough to actually enjoy it. Your health is the foundational asset. It's the investment that makes every other investment possible.
So the real question here isn't just what should I eat? It's much bigger than that. It's what kind of future do I want to build? The potential for a 180-year life, one that's full of health, new careers, and incredible wealth, it's right there. It's our biological birthright that we've just forgotten about. So the only question left is, how are you going to start investing in it?